Today, we're unraveling the puzzle of the two witnesses. Now, before we get into the astonishing details, let me ask you a question. Do you know of them? You see, the two witnesses are these mysterious figures mentioned in the book of Revelation. In a moment, we'll take a look at who these two might be. As we walk through Revelation 11, we'll uncover the identities, their mission, and the incredible supernatural ways that they accomplished that mission. But that's not all. There's an amazing twist to their ancient prophecy that connects to something unexpected, something that we'll get to later. By the end of this video, you'll view the two witnesses and their prophetic tale in a whole new light. So get ready, because we're about to embark on a journey that might just reshape your understanding of what's to come. You don't want to miss this. Join me as we uncover the mysteries of the two witnesses together. It's about to get intense, and I can't wait to share this revelation with you. So let's dive in. As we begin studying Revelation chapter 11, we're going to take a look at who these two witnesses are, and we're going to take a look at what their mission is. In addition to that, we're going to take a look at some of the judgments that's going to come from them, and we're going to take a look at God's protection over them. We're going to see how Antichrist is going to react to them. And then finally, at the end, we're going to see something that they do that makes the entire world crazy. So stay with me as we look at the two witnesses in Revelation chapter 11. But first, let's go ahead and see who these two witnesses are. We can be pretty confident of who the first one is. We believe that this one is the prophet Elijah. Now, why do we think that? Well, two things. The first reason, because we recognize that Elijah actually never died. He was taken up to heaven in a chariot of fire. So he's with God in heaven. Because of that, he's able to come back down one day. The second reason, and the better reason, is because we're told that he's going to come. In the book of Malachi, in the last chapter, at the very end of it, we see that Malachi said that before the Messiah comes, the prophet Elijah was going to come to make straight a path. So we recognize that before Jesus can come and reign for 1,000 years and rule forever and ever, the prophet Elijah has to come. The first witness is probably the prophet Elijah. Now, the second witness is a little bit more difficult. The second witness could be Enoch. The reason people think it could be Enoch is because he also, like Elijah, was taken up into heaven without ever dying. We read about Enoch in the book of Genesis. And in Genesis, we see that Enoch walked with God and then he was not. And so because of that, many people think that Enoch could be the second witness. But I don't think Enoch is the second witness, and this is why. I believe the two witnesses have to be Jewish. And because of that, Enoch actually is not Jewish. Enoch existed before Abraham. Abraham is the father of the Jewish nation. And so since he was born and lived before Abraham, it probably can't be Enoch because he's not Jewish. So who can the second witness be who is Jewish? And I believe that that's Moses. And I have a couple of reasons for that. The first is, if you look at the miracles that the witnesses do, you'll see that they look like the miracles that Moses performed in the book of Exodus. So that's the first reason. But the second reason is because we've already seen Moses speaking to Jesus once before. And that was at the Transfiguration, where both Elijah and Moses come down and speak to Jesus. So because of that, it makes a lot of sense that Elijah and Moses are the two witnesses. What are these two witnesses doing? Well, their mission is to evangelize the earth. You see, they're going to be based in Jerusalem, but their words are going to go out into the world. And we can see how that can happen in this day and age where we have cell phones and cameras that can just transmit immediately over the internet. So as these two witnesses are doing their work in Jerusalem, it's going to go out into the whole world. And as it does that, the whole world is going to hear the message. And why that's important is because you have to remember, the church has been raptured from the world. So once the church is raptured, the only people left on the world are unbelievers. And so somebody needs to be there to tell the world about Jesus. We're going to see that that's the 144,000 that we spoke about last week, but it's going to be these two witnesses that are based out of Jerusalem that's going to share that gospel message. So that's their mission. Now, as they do that, people are going to hate them. There's a reason why these people didn't go up into the rapture and were left behind. They just don't want to hear about Jesus. And so they're going to hate these two people. They're going to try to destroy these two people. They're going to try to kill these two witnesses. But God is going to supernaturally protect them. No harm is going to come to these two witnesses for 3.5 years. Now, for 3.5 years, they're going to be preaching this gospel. Their message is going to start at the beginning of the 7-year tribulation period, and it's going to go through to the midpoint of the 7-year tribulation period. 3.5 years. As they're doing this, and as people are going to try to kill them, and as God protects them, they are actually going to have some supernatural power themselves. Elijah, when he was alive on earth, was able to stop the rain and make the rain come down. And indeed, that's what he's going to do in the future as the first witness. Moses, when he was alive, he was able to turn water into blood. And indeed, that's what he's going to do when he comes back as the second witness. So we're going to see that these two men are going to perform many different kinds of miracles in addition to those, but they're also going to be protected by God so that no one can hurt them for 3.5 years. They are what we call the lampstands and the olive branches. And we get that from the book of Zechariah. We see that the two witnesses are like these two olive branches, and that they're like these two lampstands. So what does that mean? Well, they are literally shining the light of God on this dark world at that time. They're the lampstands of God. Remember, Jesus talks about how a city on a hill cannot be hidden, and that we should not hide our light under a bushel, but we should shine it so that everyone in the house can see. Well, that's what these two lampstands are going to be doing. They're going to be shining the light of God so that everyone can see. And as they do that work in this world, people are going to hate them. But you know who's going to especially hate them? Antichrist's people. The people who are working with and for Antichrist are going to hate these witnesses. And they're going to do everything they can to destroy them. But they're going to be unsuccessful because God's protecting them. But here's something really interesting for us to know. What we read in chapter 11 is that Antichrist himself is going to come and destroy these two witnesses. And your first thought might be, can Antichrist overpower God? And the answer to that is absolutely not. Of course he cannot. But Antichrist also is a pretty smart guy. And he knows his scriptures because he knows who he's up against. And he knows that these two witnesses are actually going to only be able to witness for 3.5 years. He's a smart guy. He's sending his guys out to try to kill these witnesses, knowing that there's no way that they will ever be able to kill these witnesses. But he also knows that in 3.5 years, he's going to turn around and say, guys, you guys obviously can't do this. Let me handle this. And he's going to go up and he is going to kill the witnesses because their time will have been expired. God will no longer be protecting them at that point. The 3.5 years of protection will be over. And then what we see at that point is that these two witnesses will be dead and left on the streets of Jerusalem. And Jerusalem will celebrate. And not just Jerusalem, but the whole world will celebrate. And as they're celebrating, as they're whooping it up, Christmas is gone. There's no celebration of Christmas anymore because we're not going to celebrate the birth of Christ. But guess what we now have? We have a new thing to celebrate. And we read in Revelation 11 how the people are going to be so excited and so happy that they're going to create a new type of Christmas. And they're going to give gifts to each other and celebrate the day that these witnesses died. And it's going to be a wonderful time in the world. There's going to be a time of celebration. Work's going to shut down. Antichrist's going to celebrate. But then 3.5 days is going to pass. And 3.5 days, something miraculous is going to happen. And before we get to that, it's so important for us to recognize that Antichrist is so powerful right now in the midpoint of the tribulation because he himself has been resurrected. If we look at chapter 13, we see that Antichrist is going to receive a fatal blow at the midpoint of the tribulation, and that fatal blow will be healed. So, in fact, Antichrist has already been resurrected, and the people are now worshiping him. The people now think he's the greatest thing. They think he's the new Messiah. In fact, they say, who can be like him? No one can defeat him. And so that resurrection of the Antichrist has made him into a thing of worship. But guess what happens? These two witnesses are resurrected. God takes them and brings them back to life. And with all those same cameras that were showing the witness of the two witnesses and was showing their death, they are now going to show their resurrection. And now we're going to see not only are they resurrected, but that they are taken up into heaven. And now the people are frightened. The people are scared. It terrifies the world. Antichrist, of course, is going to do a PR damage control so that he can continue to control the world. But there's going to be an effect, a major effect. Because what we read is that not only are these two witnesses resurrected and go up into heaven, but Jerusalem is going to be destroyed by an earthquake. And what we're going to see is 7,000 people are going to die in Jerusalem. And that's going to shake the Jewish people up. And as they get shaken up, they're going to turn and recognize who these people were. They're going to recognize that they were Elijah and Moses. They're going to recognize that they are their own prophets. And they are going to turn and listen to their own prophets and receive Jesus as their Lord and Savior. So we're going to see what happens to Jerusalem in the future once they receive Jesus as their Lord and Savior. This resurrection of the two witnesses is going to cause so much problem for Antichrist that Antichrist is going to go crazy and try to destroy all the Israelites, and after that, all the Christians in general. We're going to read some more about that as we continue in this series of Revelation. But for now, thank you so much for joining me. God bless you.